Well, let me ask you something this morning. Have you ever watched something get completely overpowered? I'm not talking about just a close fight. I mean a total one-sided defeat. I was talking to some of the basketball players at the earlier service, and I discussed the idea if the varsity players played against the freshman team, it would be a lopsided victory. Well, out here in cattle country, most of you know what a bad case of pink eye can do to a calf. Let alone, it's going to spread, it's going to take over. The animal won't be able to see, won't be able to eat right, it's going to lose weight. That infection will have the run of the place until you get the right medicine on the calves. That right treatment doesn't negotiate with the infection. It doesn't compromise with it. It overpowers it completely. And I think that's the best picture that I can use for this Easter morning. You see, in Jesus' day, sin had the run of the world. It had spread over into every corner of human life. Our families, their habits, their hearts. It had convinced them that there was no way out. There was no cure. There was no hope for anything different. And then God shows up with the cure. And it wasn't a negotiation. I think many of us may have felt that weight of that, the weight of something in your life that you can't fix on your own. Maybe it's a habit that you've tried to break 100 times. Maybe you keep doing the same thing that you swear that you would not do anymore. Maybe it's just a quiet feeling that you have that something is not right with you and God. But you don't know how to get from there to here. And that feeling has a name. It's the weight of sin, and it's real. But here's what I need you to hear this morning, church. You did not come to church today by accident. You're sitting in the exact right place on exactly the right Sunday to hear this. The weight that was not designed to be yours, it's not meant for you to carry forever. I want you to think for a second what it means that the Son of God came down to earth. We say it so often at Christmas that I think it loses its punch. So let me try to give it back to you. The God who spoke the universe into existence, who set the stars in the sky, who stretched the sky out like a tent. He breathed life into the very first human being. That God, he looked into this broken world and he said, I'm going in. He didn't send a memo. He didn't send an angel with a fix-it plan. He came himself as a baby, born in a barn in a small backwater little town. He got calloused hands working with wood. He got tired. He got hungry. He cried at a funeral of his best friend. Why? Because that was the only way he could break sin's power over human beings, was for him to become one. You see, he had to live the life that we couldn't live perfectly without giving in. And he had to take it onto himself, everything that our failures deserve. Every broken promise, every selfish choice that we've made, every moment that we've turned our back to God, Jesus took it all. You see, that's what the cross is. It's not a sad story about an innocent man. It's the moment the Son of God absorbed the full weight of every sin that has been done, so that weight would never land on us ever again. He came all the way down here so that he could bring us all the way home. Now, when Jesus died, the followers, they thought it was over, finished, done, that the movement was dead. The dream was buried. The stone rolled in front of the tomb. And for them, for those first 3 days, the world went back to normal. You see, sin, they thought, had won. 3 days. 3 days of silence. 3 days of grief. 3 days the disciples hiding behind locked doors, wondering what had they given their lives to. And then, before the sun comes up on Sunday morning, something happened in the tomb that no human being had ever witnessed, but that every human being ever since has felt the shockwaves from. Jesus got up, not resuscitated, not a ghost, not a vision. He got up in a resurrection body with the nail scars still in his hands. The stone was rolled away so the stone was rolled away not so that Jesus could get out, but for us to look in and see he is not there. And when Mary Magdalene shows up in the dark, still grieving, she hears a voice say her name. And she turns around and she realizes who it is. That's the moment the whole world changed. Death lost, sin lost, the grave lost. But Jesus won. Now here's where I want you to stay with me, because the whole point of today's sermon rests on this. The resurrection is not just a great historical event that we celebrate once a year. It's not just a happy ending to the Easter story. It's a declaration about the power available to you right now, today. When Jesus rose from the dead, he didn't just prove he was God. He broke the power that had been holding each one of us down. Think about it this way. When ranching, I understand that when you move a herd of cattle, there's one thing that controls all of it: the gate. As long as that gate is locked, the cattle stay where you want them to stay. They have no decision. They don't get to decide. The gate decides. You see, back in that time, sin was the gate. It controlled where you could go, who you had access to, what kind of life was even possible for you. A life fully connected to God, a real living daily relationship with God, that gate was locked. And we had locked it ourselves, generation after generation. Easter is the moment that Jesus walked up to that gate and he tore it off the hinges. The empty tomb means that you don't have to live under sin's power anymore. Not you're going to be perfect, not life's going to be easy, but the power that sin had over your life, the power to keep you separated from God, to keep you locked in patterns that you hate, to keep you convinced that you're too far gone, that power has been broken. The gate is off the hinges. The question, church, is, will you walk through? So I want to ask you something directly. What is it that has felt like it has had power over your life? What's the one thing that you've tried to beat on your own, but you couldn't? What's that distance between you and God that you've been carrying around? Maybe for years, maybe for most of your life. I want you to know something. Jesus did not go through all of that, the incarnation, the cross, the resurrection, as some type of abstract theological exercise. He did it for you. Every one of you. By name. Do you remember how he called Mary's name into the garden? I don't think that's just a nice detail to the story. That's who Jesus is. He's the kind of God who comes looking for you personally. He calls you by name. He shows up in your grief, in your doubt, in your mess. And he says, I'm here. I'm not leaving. The relationship that sin blocked, that relationship is available to each of us today. Not after you get your act together. Not after you clean things up that you're ashamed of. Right now. Because the work has already been done. If you never said yes to Jesus, today is the day. The tomb is empty. The gate is open. All you have to do is walk through. And if you've been a believer for years, but somewhere along the way the relationship got cold with God, maybe life got hard. You just drifted away a little bit. Maybe you just got busy. Easter is God's standing invitation to come back. The door is still open. It never closed. Here's what I love about Ferris Chapel. You guys are Rancho people. You know what it means to show up before the sun comes up and get done what needs to get done. You don't quit when things get hard. That's in your DNA. That same toughness that gets you through a cold, hard winter, imagine that toughness fueled not just by your own grit, but by the power of the risen Savior inside of you. That's what we're offering today. You see, we're not a people living under sin's power, sin's shadow anymore. We are an Easter people. We've seen the empty tomb, and we go out from here this morning knowing the ending. And the ending is life. It's a relationship with God. Church, He is not here. He is risen. The grave has no power over us. He is risen. He's risen indeed. Thank you, church. Do we have any leftover? I need one of those communion. It's like I forgot to